All right, let's just jump right into this explainer. Today, we're talking about a guy who literally built the modern world and then was somehow nearly erased from its history. We are unpacking the life, the totally suppressed genius, and the ultimate vindication of Nikola Tesla.
I mean, think about that for a second. Who invents the 20th century only to be erased from it? It's wild, right? Back in the day, Tesla was one of the most famous people on Earth, like Steve Jobs or Stephen Hawking level of famous. He's rubbing elbows with high society, hanging out with Mark Twain, universally hailed as the inventor of the 20th century. But then, for decades, his name was just quietly scrubbed from textbooks. How on earth does someone invent the future and then just vanish from the present?
Look, if you've plugged anything into a wall outlet today, driven an electric car, listened to the radio, or hooked up to Wi-Fi, you are literally living in Tesla's world. We're talking about the alternating current power grid that electrified the entire globe, the very first remote-controlled robots meant to keep humans off the battlefield, wireless communication, electric motors. These aren't just cool ideas, they are the actual foundation of our daily lives.
Section 1. The Architect of Tomorrow.
Getting there wasn't easy, because you had this incredibly bitter rivalry between the era's two massive power pioneers. On one side, Nikola Tesla, he is laser-focused on high-voltage alternating current, or AC, because it's just phenomenally efficient. He genuinely wanted to solve problems for humanity. And on the flip side, his former boss, Thomas Edison. Edison was all in on low-voltage direct current, DC, which honestly required these massive, super inefficient cables everywhere. So, to protect his financial monopoly, Edison wages this ruthless PR war against Tesla. I mean, he was publicly electrocuting animals just to make people terrified of Tesla's AC power. Just brutal.
But, you really can't hide the truth forever. 27 million. That is how many people showed up at the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. And what they saw there literally changed human history. Tesla's alternating current motors lit up the entire fairground. It was one of the largest electric light displays the world had ever seen. This was his mic drop moment, proving once and for all that his system was safe, it was incredibly efficient, and it was absolutely ready to light up the world.
Section 2. The Wireless Global Dream.
Because for Tesla, simply wiring up cities for electricity, that was just step one. In his patents from the year 1900, keep in mind this is decades before the internet or cell networks were even a blip on anyone's radar, he basically called it. He forecasted that you and I would have cell phones. He described a world where we could securely and wirelessly communicate voice and pictures anywhere on the planet. He was literally mapping out a private, unhackable signaling system over a century ago.
And that brings us to his ultimate masterpiece, the Wardenclyffe Tower project. The mechanics here are just mind-blowing. He planned to use the Earth itself as a giant natural conductor of energy. Here's how it would work. You'd wire a device into the ground outside your house. It would receive power and info traveling through the Earth, and then it would distribute that energy wirelessly through the air to pocket-sized receivers. Does that sound familiar? Mobile phones, cars, even planes wouldn't need gas or huge batteries. They'd just pull continuous energy straight from this global wireless grid.
Section 3. Crushed by corporate greed.
But here is where Tesla's utopian project crashes headfirst into early 20th century capitalism. The dominoes fell really fast. In 1901, Guglielmo Marconi sends a transatlantic radio message and makes front-page news. The catch, though? He used Tesla's patents to do it. But Tesla's main financial backer, J.P. Morgan, didn't care. To him, the communication goal was reached, so he just completely yanked Tesla's funding. Boom. Without that money, Tesla spirals into debt. By 1915, he loses the Wardenclyffe property entirely. And in 1917, they literally packed his beautiful tower with dynamite, blew it up, and sold the scraps for metal.
So why did Morgan just abandon him so quickly? Well, when Tesla explained that his real goal wasn't just sending messages, but actually transmitting unlimited free energy to the entire world, Morgan reportedly balked. He's quoted as saying, "Nobody's pulling up to my gas pump and getting the gas for free." It was a fatal clash. The capitalist need for metered fossil fuel profits just could not coexist with Tesla's humanitarian vision. I mean, you can't put a meter on ambient energy, right?
And the fallout for Tesla was just devastating. While Edison was off building a massively lucrative motion picture monopoly and using slick PR to brand himself as this untouchable American hero, Tesla was getting systematically destroyed.
The financial and media establishments basically teamed up to smear him. They branded this bona fide genius as a kook and a crank in the papers, actively wiping him from public memory and forcing him into this really tragic, lonely isolation.
Section 4. Tuning into the universe.
To really get Tesla, you have to look past those smear campaigns and understand his incredibly unique, kind of esoteric mindset. He once said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. He firmly believed his own brain was just a receiver. To him, the human body and mind acted like a physical antenna that could literally download information, inspiration, and strength right from some core intelligence in the universe.
This totally ties into his scientific framework, specifically his absolute belief in something called the ether. He saw the universe as being filled with this energetic medium that conducted electrical impulses, kind of like a vast invisible ocean just rippling with waves. And because he anchored his physics in real-world electrical experiments and this resonating ether, he was actually quite skeptical of Einstein's relativity theories that were just starting to take over.
So when you view him through that lens of energy and frequencies, his famous eccentricities aren't crazy at all. They actually make total sense. He didn't refuse to shake hands because he was just a germaphobe. He was hypersensitive to other people's energy and wanted to protect his own energetic field. He actively avoided romantic relationships because he literally calculated, that it would disrupt the intense mental focus he needed to invent. He visualized entire inventions in flashes of light, and he believed the Earth had its own natural resonant frequency. This wasn't madness. He was just meticulously protecting his ability to, well, download the future.
Section 5. A legacy resurrected.
Which brings us to today, where the world is finally waking up to the fact that his century-old ideas might actually be our absolute best blueprint for survival. His original inventions are the literal foundation of our modern fight against climate change. I mean, he is the true father of renewable energy. He harnessed hydroelectric power at Niagara Falls way back when. And if you see a modern electric car driving down the street today, it's running on a 3-phase electric motor that Tesla invented. He knew all along we couldn't just keep digging up and burning fossil fuels forever.
Just look at this breakdown. While the rest of the world spent the entire 20th century burning fossil fuels, driving up emissions and global warming, Tesla's vision was totally clean. He proved hydroelectric power worked at Niagara Falls. He even envisioned this self-acting engine that could pull ambient heat from the air to harness solar energy 24/7. It's actually kind of heartbreaking to think about. If society and those early financiers had just backed Tesla's plans, we might not even have a climate crisis today.
But, as we know, history is rarely fair to its greatest visionaries while they're actually alive. In January of 1943, Nikola Tesla, the guy who literally gave the world light and power, died completely alone, buried in debt, and penniless in a room at the Hotel New Yorker. He spent his final days mostly feeding pigeons in a nearby park, totally ignored by the very world he built.
But then, almost like it was scripted for a movie, the vindication he was denied in life happened almost immediately after he died. Later, that exact same year, 1943, the U.S. Supreme Court finally ruled that Tesla's patents predated Marconi's claims. The highest court in the land officially recognized that it was Nikola Tesla, not Marconi, who actually invented the radio.
And that brings us to what is probably his most incredible mic drop statement. Facing critics, stolen credit, and smear campaigns, he once said, "The present is theirs. The future, for which I have really worked, is mine." And you know what? Looking at our world right now, the smartphones, the global Wi-Fi, the electric vehicles, he was absolutely right. So, as you go about your day today relying on all these invisible currents and frequencies everywhere around you, I'll leave you with this. Are we finally ready to catch up to the consciousness of Nikola Tesla, or are we just living as ghosts inside the machine he dreamed up over a century ago?